Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on the Pepetoe Podcast. Again, I've changed the name and I'm trying to get used to saying it, not this is just the beginning. But yeah, it's been a very exciting week for me actually. I mean, I know it's been a couple weeks since I did my last episode because I had problems with uploading it because the software I used to upload my podcast just wasn't working, which was so frustrating, and I spent literally a week trying to upload it every day. So that's why there's a bit of a delay in this episode coming out as well. But I have been a very, very busy girl recently and a lot has been going on, to be honest, with work as well. I think I said in my last episode how I've kind of been struggling with work recently with just trying to hit my KPIs, and it's coming up to the end of my probation period. So I've nearly been there for 3 months, which is actually crazy because it feels like I've just started. And I don't know, because it's like I started in the summer. I mean, I know I started my last job last summer as well, but I don't know, it feels like I'm just kind of on an internship. Like, because that's how my last job was. It was a 3-month internship. Then I got the job to go full time with, I wasn't an intern anymore. And it feels like the same with this one. And I've just realized over the last couple of weeks that no, this is an actual job. And it's really scary, to be honest, because I don't know, it's a really good, a good job to have on my CV, and it's not just always about my CV. It's a really fun job, don't get me wrong, but there's just been so much back and forth with me and the internal team with what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm doing influencer marketing, but I'm hired for to do the German market. But then there's been no plan since I came into the company, how on earth that's going to happen, because it's a completely different market, it's not just reaching out to the same people in the rest of the world. To some people it might sound like it is, but no, it's not. If you know what you're talking about with marketing and influencer marketing, every country is a different market because every country has different brands to compete with, and it's just this whole thing at the moment with Germany. And I know it's my job and I am trying, but there's just been so much back and forth. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but there's been so much back and forth, and I finally found my footing in the company as the German specialist that was hired. I'm not the 21-year-old who was hired just kind of because I've got some experience and it's just my next job. It wasn't really like that. It was because they wanted a German person to come in, which I am. Obviously I got hired because I'm basically fluent in German and Spanish as well. They didn't know that. I literally told them that this week and everyone was like, what? You can speak Spanish as well? I was like, yeah, it was on my CV. I spoke about it in my interview. People just didn't know. So I have kind of been feeling recently that I am actually an asset to the team, not just another member of the team. So it is a really good feeling to have. But alongside work, as you know, I do so much. Like I've said before, I cannot keep myself, I have to keep busy. I cannot relax. When I come home from work, I've got my podcast, I've got my blog, I've got my socials. I've recently set up, very exciting news, but I've recently set up my social media business called Social Media by Elle. I have my website set up for that. I've got a new social page, which I need to start growing. Obviously, because if I'm starting a social media business, I need to have an actual decent Instagram for it. So that's a lot of work as well. I started that business because I've been getting some new clients recently. And I just thought I may as well start a business with it because, most of my clients are just friends or friends of friends. So it's this whole thing at the moment, but it is getting together. But it's just this feeling of burnout recently, which I hate. And I speak about burnout literally on every episode I do because it's so important to talk about because we all face those times. But I went to therapy on Tuesday, which was really good timing because Tuesday was just a really shit day at work. And it wasn't until Thursday that everything happened, everything kind of aligned at work, and I had a massive meeting with my boss. Literally, it was meant to be a 15-minute meeting. It ended up being nearly 2 hours. Same with our team meeting, was meant to be half an hour, it ended up being an hour and a half. It was just a whole afternoon of meetings, but that kind of thing, you have to speak up when you want something. I know it's a thing, I'm still in my probation period, I'm young, I'm not as experienced as someone else in the team, for example, but no, I am. Most people, that this was their first job, or they don't have a degree, or I can speak German, you know what I mean? So I am experienced, and I've been trying to battle with that kind of imposter syndrome, I guess, with, I'm not experienced. I am 21. I'm the youngest one at the company, actually, by a month, but I'm still the youngest person in the company. So it's that kind of imposter syndrome to me where I'm I'm not experienced. I shouldn't really have got this job. Or then I realized, no, I am very experienced, but especially obviously with the German market. That's been my whole life, literally until I finished university last year. That was my whole life, doing languages. So I am so skilled in that. I'm so experienced, and the knowledge that I have needs to be used. And it's that imposter syndrome that I finally, not stood up to my boss because she's lovely, but I finally said it to my boss. I was like, look, I can be used in more areas than just sending out emails to influencers to work with us, which isn't working for one thing. But yeah, it was that whole thing, and that imposter syndrome is bad. That's one of the key things I want to speak to you about today. But before I get into that, and just kind of have a breath right now, the last couple of weeks have been fun outside of work with me doing my clients and their socials and their websites, and it's been such an exciting time, like, to set up a new business that it's just a new website I've done to hopefully generate some sales from that. But that's not my main focus. It's just something to do alongside work at the moment, because I had a feeling that I was going to get fired or something after my probation period, but it was just this thing to set up alongside what I'm doing. But as I said, like, I'm just so burnt out from it. It's just so much work to do, but I do it to myself. I need to come up with a schedule I have in the day to come home from work and chill, and schedule in an hour each week for each client, to phone them, to do their plan, just streamline all my work. That's what I need to do. But other than that, I have loved my sister being home from uni. It's been the most amazing time to have her back with me. And we've just been going to the gym every day together. And that's another thing, like, I thought I was burnt out from that as well. But no, I've realised, like, yeah, okay, I'm 2 years into recovery, so I know kind of what I'm doing, but I've tried so many different methods with my relationship with food and exercise, and now I've finally got into this habit of going to the gym when I want to, but also if I don't want to go, it's usually because I'm feeling unmotivated. I'd never ever force myself to go, but being with my sister, who she's trying to get into fitness and into the gym, and she wants me there obviously to help her, to support her, like she hates going to the gym on her own, and since me and her have been going together, like, I can't go on my own anymore. I tried to go yesterday. I literally got in my car and I was working. It was like mid-afternoon. I got all my work done. I got in my car to go to the gym, and I drove like 5 minutes, and I was like, I actually can't go. I was like, I don't want to do this. So I went home and went for a run instead, because my sister was out and I wanted to go with her, because it feels so weird going to the gym on my own now. But that's been so much fun, going to the gym most days with her, between like 20 minutes to like an hour and a half. That our kind of gym time does depend on literally how we're feeling, because in the past, as I've told you before, like, I would force myself to do an hour of cardio, then an hour of weights, and I'd be knackered, and I'd do that every single day, plus go for like 2 walks a day, go for a run. Like, I would do so much, especially when I did hockey as well. But now I've finally found this relationship where I love the gym. And I love going to the gym, and it's so fun to do. Like, I've realised gym isn't meant to be about burning calories or being really sweaty, which I am, and I am burning calories, but that's not in the forefront of my mind. It's more, I'm going to the gym with my sister to have some sister time, because I work every day, so I don't really have a lot of time with her. So it's like I get home from work, we have some dinner, wait a couple hours, go to the gym, like a late night session, and it's just the best feeling to go. And it's kind of rewired my brain to think gym is supposed to be fun. Gym is supposed to be your hobby, like, because I've been thinking I don't have a hobby, because I've always tied exercise to productivity. Again, with me being busy all the time and never wanting to do something for myself, gym is that. It's not productive. Like, yeah, okay, it is, but I've kind of rewired my brain to think, no, like, going to the gym is actually a hobby. Like, it's a fun thing in your day. It's to break up your day. Like, that's why when I work from home, I go kind of like midday or like mid-afternoon to break up my day a little bit more. And it's just so much more fun. And I like love going to the gym with my boyfriend, because again, if you go to the gym with different people, they always do different exercises, or, you know, everyone does gym or exercise so differently, so it's so nice to go with someone. So if you're struggling with that at the moment, because I always have burnout at the gym, I'm like, I've done everything, whether I'm doing splits like legs, upper, or push and pull and abs and cardio. If I do it like that, I get burnt out, or if I go and just kind of do what I want to, I get burnt out. So it's good to have that kind of motivation from other people doing different exercises in the gym. But yeah, that's been like my main excitement in the week, and it's not like I'm forcing myself to go, but because I'm also going to the gym, and I said in my last episode that I kind of face a little relapse at the moment, I need to be focusing on weight gain. So I'm going to go back on the contraception pill, which I don't want to do. I really don't, but I really should, because I'm not using anything else at the moment. So I'm going to go back on that. I'm going to find one that doesn't cause as much puffiness, but I don't know, because I mean, people I've spoken to about the pill, they say that it doesn't affect them in any way. Whereas when I was on it for like 18 months, my mood was awful, my periods were worse. Well, it's not really a period, but it was just so bad, and like my acne was bad, I was tired all the time, the weight gain, the puffiness, because when I came off the pill I lost weight so quickly, and I thought, am I in a relapse, am I not? And I realised no, the weight gain on the pill is just so severe. I hated it. Like, I was just so puffy all the time, and I really hated it. Like, it was good for what I was going through to gain that weight, kind of because I had to, because I was on the pill. It was that kind of thing, like, okay, it's actually not weight gain, you know what I mean? It's more just like puffiness, and it did help me with that process. But then now that I'm really small again, I've not done it proactively, I've not like consciously gone out to lose weight. It's just like with stress with work, I've lost weight, and I've never had that before. Like I have lost weight from stress, whether that's from stress directly or stress leading me to not eating because I'm too busy or too stressed or anxious or whatever it is. That's been what's happening. So with going to the gym, I'm putting a huge focus on eating as well, and eating protein, and not even that, just eating more food. And that's kind of my goal at the moment. I also spent last weekend with my boyfriend at his house because I never ever go to his house. He always comes here. Spent it with his nieces who are like 4 and 2 years old, and they're so cute. They did steal my hairbrush though, which I got very annoyed at, but they're so cute. And we just spent a lovely weekend together. We went to Rutland as well, which is, if you don't know, it's the smallest county in England. It's like not on the east coast, but it's like east in the middle a bit, like a bit up, kind of by like, I actually don't know where it is. It's by Leicestershire. That's where we went for a lovely walk, lovely pub lunch, went for a run together. I actually went for a run with him, and I've said before, he's a semi-pro athlete, and I kept up with him for 3 kilometres, and I was so proud of myself, honestly, and I got some great content from that as well. But getting into the episode now about imposter syndrome, it is a tricky one, but I feel like we all face it at some point in our lives, especially people around my age, like early 20s, when maybe you finish university and you go into a job. And obviously a lot of grad jobs, from my knowledge, again, I didn't graduate, so I don't actually know, but from my knowledge and from seeing people go into them, especially people go into business or management, that kind of thing, which most people do regardless of their course, they all tend to go into management. Like my sister wants to do that, kind of like on a grad scheme where it's like 6 months you're just kind of a normal employee, then you go on like a management scheme and you become a manager or a salesperson, whatever it is. Seeing people do that, a lot of the time I feel like people feel like it's like imposter syndrome. Like you think, I'm 21 years old and I'm in this huge company being a manager when people have been here for years and they're just working like in accounts or like customer service or something. And it is that feeling a lot of the time, and people get it different things, like if you win a competition which you didn't think you should have, like singing, dancing, whatever it is, or you've made captain of a sports team, that kind of thing, and you feel like, I don't deserve this. And that comes from loads of different things. It definitely comes from self-worth and self-doubt. And I'm being very hypocritical when I speak about this because this is where I am right now. I've said that, like I've got imposter syndrome at work. And it's not a trend. Like people are jumping on this thing like, oh, everyone's got imposter syndrome at the moment. But especially young people, like we actually do, because we've never been in that position before, especially when you just go into the workplace and you realise you're actually doing well. It's a really weird feeling because you're like, yeah, no, I shouldn't be in this position. And I don't know, it's just this feeling of, I don't know what to do. And it's whether you like push to be that kind of persona that you've been employed for in the company, whether you're like, yeah, this young, fresh talent, or you just kind of sit back. And my advice there is to definitely embrace it. Even if it is imposter syndrome, if you're feeling those feelings of like self-doubt and you're like, I don't deserve this, I'm not worthy of this, those kind of feelings, just embrace it. Just embrace this kind of feeling of, oh my God, like I'm actually doing well. And as soon as you let that feeling come in, it's the most amazing feeling ever, and you feel so accomplished already with what you're doing. Even if you've been there for a week, a month, like me, almost 3 months. Well, I've had this a lot recently with, as I was saying, like, should I stand up to my boss and say, look, I've got more skills than what you're letting me do. Like, I want to do more market research, market insights, e-commerce, email marketing. I can do all of that, and I want to be a part of all of that. You've also got to ask for more. So if you're feeling this in-between thing of like kind of imposter syndrome, but then also like, I don't know what I'm doing, or should I be here? I don't really know my place yet. Everyone feels like that at any age when you go into a new job. First of all, I know I'm 21, I can't speak a lot about this, but I know that for a fact. Everyone feels a bit out of place when they start a new job, unless you like know the company, or you know a few people that work there, or you've been headhunted for it, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. But you will still feel a bit out of place. You don't know what you're doing. You're a bit not clued up about things, even if you're so experienced. Every company does things differently, especially if I went into, like I work for Able, if I went into Gymshark and influencer marketing, they could do it completely differently. I don't think they would, but the system's always different in every company. So it's that feeling of, should I stand up and say, okay, I know my place, but I can do more? Especially when you're young and people will be like, no, you're young, like fuck off, basically. That is that feeling that would happen. But if you know your worth, and I know my worth, but sometimes I act like I don't, or I forget that I know my worth. Like on the basic line of things, I do know my worth. As I've said, like I am way more than capable of doing more than my role suggests at work. And not just in the work life, like I am so capable and just so empowered at the moment to do things that I didn't think I would be able to do. And as soon as you listen to this positive voice in your mind instead of this negative one saying that you can do it, you are worthy, you are deserving of this, if it's at work, relationships, personal life, whatever it is, okay, we're not just talking about work here, with whatever. As soon as you listen to that I can do this attitude, you will go so much further in life. Too many people just kind of get like drowned and overwhelmed by all the negative emotions in their head, and I know that it's easier said than done, but just shut them out. Listen to the positive thing. If it helps, put on your favourite song. I mean, when I'm having a really bad day or I'm driving into work and I need that extra bit of motivation, if anyone watched Victorious as a kid, I put on the theme tune to that, Make It Shine. Best song ever, to just kind of lift your spirits up. But I know like when you're feeling sad, you just want to listen to sad songs. Like, trust me, I know that too. But I always make sure I put that song on like before I pull up into the work car park or something like that. I always try and do that. Let yourself feel the emotions at the same time. No, don't try and quash them down, especially if you're working. You don't want to have a breakdown at work like I did not long ago. But also like at your age, try and focus on one thing. Like, don't do an Ellie and focus on 20 things at the same time. Because I used to be someone who would start something and I could never finish it. And I still kind of am like that now. But if you take one big example, my PT course, I've been doing it for a year, still not finished it, have I? And it's just that, but then because of that, I'm like so anxious all the time, but I'm not doing it because I just don't have time to do it. But then I'm anxious all the time. I know that as soon as I've got that done, I've passed it, I've got the certificate, I'll be so much happier. But please don't have so much going on at the same time. I've kind of brought it back to 2 things to focus on is work and self-care. And this week, since my kind of breakdown at therapy on Tuesday about burnout, imposter syndrome, all of this which I'm talking about, self-worth, self-doubt, doing too much, as soon as I came back, I just chilled so much. I came back at like 6:30, and immediately when I got home, my mind was like, you need to go do your client work, you need to do your socials, you need to get a reel out, you need to get a TikTok done, you need to get a blog post, a podcast. And I just went, no. I had a glass of wine with my sister, we played some Minecraft, and you can say what you want about Minecraft, but I play it. To be fair, it's kind of a sign of my mental health. I usually play it when I'm getting a bit depressed, and it's usually over winter or breakups or whatever, or friendship or whatever it is. I tend to play Minecraft when I'm sad, but I've kind of wired that because this summer when my sister's boyfriend's been back, I like us 3 have just like spent a whole day, a couple days. Like, I came home from work really ill. I was throwing up everywhere. Don't know what was wrong with me. I thought I was pregnant for a bit, but I was throwing up everywhere. So work sent me home. Like, I felt fine, but I was just sick and I did not want to throw up in that toilet at work because I did that at my last workplace and that was just disgusting. But I came back, sat in bed all day and played Minecraft. And those things, like, that is self-care. Even if it's so, like, these self-care acts, like, really subconscious or you don't feel like you are, that is self-care. Like, I've just done a blog post about a morning routine and stuff like that is self-care. Like, even if you've got a very simple, plain morning routine of, like, you wake up, you brush your teeth, you get in the shower, you make your coffee, you get changed, you go. All of those things, other than, like, leaving, obviously, they're all self-care. Brushing your teeth, having a shower, that's hygiene. That's one of the main acts of self-care. Making a coffee, that's kind of your, like, mindfulness moment in the morning and kind of feeding your, I don't say, like, cravings, but, like, making sure you have that little time in the morning, even if you're like downing the coffee or take it to go. So the act of making that coffee is that kind of self-care act. Getting changed or taking time with getting changed, reading the news, that's education. Those kind of things, like, I've realised with the morning routine, it doesn't have to be journaling, have your greens, go for a walk, do a stretch. It doesn't have to be all this like aesthetic, that girl life morning routine, especially if you're burnt out. Like, I've kind of, like, streamlined my morning routine to literally just be as I've just said, like, wake up, brush my teeth, have a shower, make my coffee. Then I tend to try and slow it down when I'm like doing my makeup, getting changed, doing my hair. That's tend to what I do. I try and have that slow down moment, half an hour getting ready. And that's something that I would suggest if you're feeling this overwhelming feeling and this anxiety of burnout or imposter syndrome, or like everything in your life is just like imploding on you. Take it back to a very basic thing of a morning routine or a night routine, but especially your morning routine. Do not rush it. Even if you do have a 3-part routine of brush teeth, get changed, make coffee, even if it's just that, take your time to do it. And you might say, oh, I don't have any time to do that, I need to just get up and go. Obviously, you're not leaving enough time for you to get ready. If you're always in a rush, wake up just 10 minutes earlier. Then you have those 10 minutes to kind of think, okay, what do I actually want to wear today? Or how is today going to go? You actually have that time to think, because as soon as you get in the car and drive to work, like your mind shut off. And I mean, my drive to work is like 45 minutes most mornings. So I have that time to listen to some songs, listen to a podcast. And I always get to work at least like 20 minutes early. So I always then just have a chill, or I journal for a bit, or I do some socials. But I try not to do my socials before work because that's more work and I don't want to do that. But I tend to like take a book or journal and just kind of do that in the morning. Or, you know what I mean? Just like think, okay, how is today going to go? Or how do I want today to go? And those kind of things just help me so much with burnout and just focusing on like one thing, like prioritizing the one thing, which for me is work. But it's also, you need to have that time around that where you can just have a chill, which is in your morning. Like if you are taking 10 minutes to get ready, you're probably getting up not that early. Get up at like 6:30, 6 o'clock, which is not early. Okay, people think it is. It's not early, especially if you're going to work. Like that's just a normal time to get up. Get up and just chill. If you've got a dog and you've got to walk it before you go to work, have that moment to chill. Don't rush the walk. Don't like rush life, because if you do that on a simple thing like going for a walk or doing your morning routine, everything in your life is just rushed. And I've like been I've been a culprit of this recently with kind of just rushing life. Like I get in the car after work and I'm rousing it home, not like speeding, but just like pulling out roundabouts like really quickly and just trying to get home quicker than my sat nav says, or not even that, just like to get home. And I'm not really getting home for anything. It's not like I'm rushing home to like go out with my friends or go see someone, or because I have to be back by a certain time. It's not that at all. And it's not even the fact that I need to get home and do more work or like do my client work or podcasts or whatever it is. It's not even that. It's just my life feels really fast at the moment. So that's why I'm just trying to like slow it down. Yesterday I had a slow day. This morning I've had a slow day. I woke up, had a lovely hour just like to myself, because the rest of my family was out. Got my nails done, put on a cute outfit, and because it's so cold in the UK today, it's like 13 degrees, which isn't cold, but honestly, Gilmore Girls is going on later, and it's the end of August. It's not autumn yet, but Gilmore Girls is going on. I might go get a PSL from Starbucks. I'm really tempted to do that, because my nails, I've gone for like a very natural colour, and I'm in like my hoodie and joggers tracksuit from Able, which I'm obsessed with, like a greeny colour with my UGG Taz on. And honestly, like I hate the weather right now, but because of that, because when it comes into like the winter months, into like the slower months of the year, I love that kind of time of the year because I can just slow it down. And I really encourage you to do that now that we are kind of entering autumn. And I know it's like a month away, but as soon as it hits September, you think back to school, back to, I don't know, like September's like a new quarter for work as well. It's Q4, so it's that kind of feeling of just slowing it down again. And yeah, okay, back to school was never slowing it down. It was more fast paced, but it's that feeling of going into autumn and winter when it's darker in the mornings, darker at night, and it's colder, and you just want to kind of chill at home underneath your duvet. And I'm so excited for that time, and I'm just kind of manifesting it more now because I've missed just sitting in like my Udi or my dressing gown with a blanket after a really hot shower, and just that feeling, and I'm so excited for it. But that's the point, like don't wait for that time though. That's why I'm kind of manifesting it now and just doing it now. Like do it now. Like if you want to kind of elevate your morning routine or your night routine or whatever it is, or you just want to feel, I don't know, just like slow your life down a bit, because I get that right now. It feels like, especially at our age, you've got to like go a million miles an hour to be successful, to do stuff, to make things happen. Because of that, like we're rushing life so much, and we just need to chill. Like I'm 21 years old. I've got years to make a business for myself, to make a name of myself, and I already kind of have. And that again, coming back to the imposter syndrome thing, that kind of feeling of, wait, I've actually done it already. I'm 21. I've been in the work world for 2 years now. Not even that a year. I've been in the work world for, or just over. And that feeling of, wait, I've actually made it. I mean, I know I haven't, but to me, to like battle that imposter syndrome, I'm like, no, I have. Like I've got a successful blog, podcast, which I'm improving every single day. I'm growing my socials. I've got a really good job. I've got a great CV. I've got a great relationship, a great family, a great home life. Like everything is working out. So those days where I think I'm so overwhelmed, I'm doing too much, my life's shit, like, you know, when you just spiral down that rabbit hole, or I'm like, I should have stayed at university. That thing comes up a lot at the moment. But all of these things like piling on each other, I'm like, just slow it down and just say to yourself, look at where you are. Like, look where you were a month ago, a year ago, however long you need the time frame for. You've come so far. Even if you think you haven't, you've come so far. Like, you are trying every single day. And I say this so much, but you are trying every single day, and you are where you want to be right now. Even if it's not where you want to be like lifelong, you are where you're supposed to be right now. Whether that is in a bit of a down phase of the year, or like you're just in a rut right now, you're supposed to be in that phase, because then you know it's going to get better. That's the best thing about like hitting rock bottom or having a mental breakdown or whatever it is. You are going to get better. Even if you're like, I'm always going to feel like this. Again, that positive thing in the back of your mind, bring it forward and think, no, right, I've hit bottom now, but in a week, a month, 2 months, I'm going to feel a lot better. Even if it's just a little bit better, it's still a lot better than how you're feeling right now. And I do have to be honest with you, I am quite hypocritical when it comes to this, because I have this kind of alter ego on Pepetoe with my podcast, my blog, my socials, where I churn out all of this really good advice, or I'm going to big myself up here. I agree with all, like, I love this advice that I give you. Like, this is me from my own experiences. It's not me really researching it. It's from what I've read, or just in my own experiences in general. This is the advice I give you. Do I listen to myself all the time? No. So it's kind of cringe as it sounds. Sometimes I do listen back to these podcasts from like a year ago, 2 years ago, or a recent one to try and make myself believe it. Because I'm saying this all to you and I'm helping someone else out there, but this is also a way to help myself. And I've said this before, like every podcast I put out there, I just want to help one person. And that's enough for me. Even though, yeah, it's a lot of work to just help one person, that's my goal in life. Like, sure, I want this to be successful. I want this to get monetized and all that kind of thing. But I'm so happy with where I am with this as my hobby. And that's what I needed to turn Pepetoe into. Like, it's my hobby. It's not a side hustle. It's not another job. It's not work. It's just me having fun with it, because that's what it started out as. It started out as a side hobby to do when I get home from school, when I was in sixth form doing A-levels. Like, it was my kind of outlet. It was my diary. But now I'm spending so much time trying to optimize it all the time, and I hate that word, but try and optimize it, streamline it, adapt it, those horrible words you hear in the workplace. But I've been trying to do that all the time and trying to do the best marketing strategies from what I've learned in my job and that kind of thing. But I just need to stop, like, just let it kind of happen on its own. Yeah, okay, it's been around for 4 years and my goal is to hit 1k by the end of the year, which is a big challenge for me, but I want to make it happen. But I'm not going to spend every moment of every day trying to make it happen. I'm just going to let it happen in its own time. That kind of mentality is a bit yin and yang, I think. It's a bit like, okay, yeah, let it happen, manifest it. I'm not talking about manifest it here. I'm talking about just letting things just run its kind of natural course. Like, you hear that a lot with relationships going south and stuff like that. Like, just let it run its course a lot of the time. Sure, put the work in if you want something to happen. But maybe you've spent so much time trying to make things happen and you just want this to be kind of like your time to do it, and you're trying to force it. Don't force it. Like, sure, put the work in to do it, but at the same time, just take a little step back. Put the work in, but kind of just relax with it and just basically just let it happen. I gave this advice to a few friends recently who were like, oh, I've never had a boyfriend, or I really want a boyfriend, or get into a relationship and settle down and get a house and move out and get married and all these like future plans. Because you do kind of feel like that when you finish uni and you're like in the actual world, that kind of thing. And yeah, okay, I have a boyfriend. I have a pretty good life at the moment. I'm not saying that they don't, but you know what I mean? Like, I've got a good job. I'm living at home, like not really paying rent. I've got a great boyfriend, a great relationship. I know that people don't have that relationship, but we're so young. Like, a few of my friends have never had a boyfriend. Some haven't had their first kiss yet. And we're 21, almost 22. Like, that's absolutely fine. There's no kind of one size fits all with anything in life, with anyone. And I hope you know that. I hope that there's kind of feeling where you're not where you're supposed to be or where you want to be, or you're comparing yourself to your friends who are successful. And I've got a few friends who are just going to university, or they finish uni with no idea what they want to do, and they turn to me and think, you've got your whole life planned out, you've got a great job, you've got a great side hobby with your blog, your podcast, like, you're doing so well. Yeah, but that's well for me, that's what I'm doing. When people compare themselves to me or to other people, I'm not saying I'm the best person to compare yourself to, not at all, no. But I'm saying that when my friends do compare themselves to me in that way, I'm like, this is just where I'm at right now in my life path. yours is coming, like your time is coming. And that's what the best feeling is like your time is coming and you will get there with whatever you want in life. You will get there. Manifest it, dream it, make it happen in whatever way you can, but also take it easy. Don't do me where you're trying to force everything to happen and make it all happen in one go. Like, I've got so much going on at the moment, but I need to just bring it back to the two basic things of work and self-care. And I encourage you to do the same, or especially if you've just finished university and you're looking for a job. Okay, yeah, the application process is shit. And to be fair, I didn't really feel like that because I just fell into work. I fell into an internship, and it is just about being lucky. Like, if you're in that position now where you're trying to get a job, whether you're a grad or you just can't find one, just keep applying. And if that's not working, email brands you want to work with, email companies, find contacts, network. LinkedIn is shit, but also great for that. I hate LinkedIn, but especially being in the marketing space, I do need to use LinkedIn. But all these things, just keep just going for it. And you will face burnout, especially with finding jobs. I know that. I have people in my life who have hit that wall right now. But it's not about you not having a good CV. Most people, especially as graduates, you will have the same experience, i.e. no experience. It is literally just luck. And a lot of companies hire based on where you live, like if you're going to commute. And like if people live closer to where you live, like to the workplace, they're going to hire them over you. If you've got to travel 2 hours to get to work and they've got to travel 20 minutes, it's literally stuff like that. Or it's just luck. Whether you get an interview or not, or whether you're successful in the interview or not, it's basically just luck. And that's why all these things like the lucky girl syndrome, manifesting, the universe, I believe in all of that, but on a very superficial level, on a very like take it with a pinch of salt kind of thing. You can manifest things, but you've got to put the work in. And as I said, like, it's all about balance in life, and that is the balance. Like, yeah, okay, manifest it, but put the work in. To be fair, like, the one time manifesting it did work was when I got my first job last summer. That was kind of me just saying, oh, I really want to work in social media, apply to one job, got the interview the next day. It was crazy, and I thought it was a scam to start with, but no, it was a legit company and a legit job role kind of thing, like an internship program. And the other time was when I got Eras tour tickets. That was mad. Like, I literally put up a poster in my wall. Call me an 8-year-old with that, but I don't care. I literally like wrote on a poster, I will get Eras tour tickets. And I wrote it down in my journal, like, I don't know how many times a day. The week later, when tickets came out, I didn't even get a code. I wasn't even on a wait list. On a university group chat, this girl popped up saying, I've got 2 tickets to Wembley. And I was on there straight away saying, right, send me a screenshot of your confirmation. Here's my PayPal. I'll send you money right now. I manifested it without putting any work into it. But that is more like lucky girl syndrome. But again, with that, you've got to, I think if you're into like the university attracting thing, the lucky girl syndrome is if you put out that like kind of lucky energy. If you put out that positive energy into the world, you're going to get that in return. If you agree with it or not, that's just the way it is. It's simple science with kind of like balance of things like physics, forces, attract, pull, push. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's always 2 forces working together. If you know anything about science, you will know that. So it's the same kind of thing with like this universe theory. Like, it's energy. Like, if you put high vibrations out, you'll get that in return. Some days you won't. Some days you're so happy, or you're trying to be happy and you would just have a shit day, okay? That's absolutely fine. That's what happens. That's just life. You can't control what other people do. You cannot control their emotions, their reactions, what they're going to say to you. If they like you, you cannot control that, but you can control how you react. So if you still react with a positive mentality, as hard as it can be sometimes if someone's shouting at you at work or, I don't know, whatever happens, as soon as you like keep switching to that positive mentality, life will become a lot easier. And especially with work, with this imposter syndrome and this burnout, take a step back at the same time when you face that kind of thing, but remind yourself like how far you've come with that. And I'm going to keep saying it, like, I am so proud of myself for getting to where I am. Like, sure, when I joined the company I work at, I was very excited to join it. Then I faced kind of a relapse with it being a fitness brand and everyone who works there going to the gym, and the athletes I look after, obviously they're fitness influencers. So it was a lot to take on, first of all, whereas at my last work, I was the youngest there by many years, the only one that probably went to the gym. It was all of that kind of thing. And it was a change to go into a place where everyone is really wham and muscly and everyone goes to the gym, and it was really hard to adjust to that. But I'm still very excited to work in a huge company, like a company I know, and I get free clothes from it all the time. Like, I love it. I absolutely love working there. But then I joined at a time when it was just going a bit tits up, like the system changing, the kind of structure of our roles, like in the kind of like athlete team changing, and I was like, this is shit. Like the last month, 2 months, like I have hated it there. I've been drafting up so many emails to quit and applying to other jobs, but now I've spoken up to my boss. I've spoken up and said, look, I blah blah blah. I've said this at the beginning of the episode, but I stood up and I've been manifesting kind of like them realizing that. But then it didn't work through manifesting. It worked through me actually doing that action. Like, you can make stuff happen by doing stuff. You cannot sit around and wait for things to happen. You've got to go out there and do it yourself. And that's the best piece of advice I think I'd give you in this episode, to be honest. And with imposter syndrome, it's hard, and I haven't really explained it that well, I guess, but just remind yourself your worth, because it does tie to your self-worth and self-doubt. If you're facing that kind of thing right now, focus on kind of upping your self-worth. Maybe go to therapy, that's the best way to do it. Or literally just write. I know people don't like it, but just write affirmations down. It doesn't have to be cringe, or like, it is cringe, trust me, but just like, I don't like it when people talk to themselves in the mirror saying it. To be fair, I hype myself up. If at work, like, I have to go to the toilet because I feel like I'm going to cry, or I'm just angry, or just really overwhelmed, I'm like, Ellie, you can do this. And I say it out loud. I do say it. I'm like, Ellie, you can do this. I do it in the car as well on my way to work. Stuff like that does actually help, but you've got to believe it. You can't just say it like, oh, I'll do some affirmations this morning. You have to believe it. Like, write it down, say it out loud, text it to someone, text it to yourself, like whatever you have to do. That's the best thing that you can do in any of these situations that I've explained today. And with your morning routine, slow it down, because this will help with work as well, or studying, or whatever you're doing that you're facing kind of this overwhelming feeling or anxiety. Slow down your morning. Slow down the things you do in the morning. And if you don't have a morning routine, which you will, everyone does, whether it is just brush your teeth, but if you kind of wake up and the first thing you do is go to a laptop to study or do work or whatever it is, wake up earlier. Or if it's just studying, leave that till a bit later and do your routine. If you go to the gym, if you want to go for a walk, not even that, just like have your coffee, or just sit, or go outside for a couple minutes, or just do something that's going to benefit you, not straight into work. Because sure, that is productive, but self-care is the most productive thing you can do, because that's lifelong. Doing work is just that kind of one thing in the moment, getting a task done. Yeah, sure, you might get a bonus from it, or that kind of thing, if you want to compare it to lifelong. But self-care, lifelong, I'm talking about your quality of life, how long you'll probably live as well. So just hold on to that, focus on your self-care, focus on your self-worth, and you are going to fly in life. And trust me, you will. I know you might not feel it right now, but you are going to do so well. So just believe in yourself, believe you will get there, and have just a great time. Especially if you're young, you will get there. But remember that right now, you're not there, and that's fine. Put the work in, manifest it, but above all, just believe it. And on that note, I wish you all a very good weekend. It's a bank holiday here in the UK, so believe it, I'm just going to relax. I'm not doing any work. I'm just going to chill, and I'm going to enjoy it, because we all deserve a break. Work hard, play hard. That's the way you got to do it. It's all about balance. So I'll speak to you next week, and I hope you have a very good day. So thank you and goodbye.